back to the Happy Hacker with Ambition. Right, I think I better do a review of my superb ideal jump saddle for Rosie. As you know, we had the very lovely Poppy Webber from PeeWee Saddlery come out. Can't recommend her enough. She's absolutely lovely, really knows her stuff. As you know, I was always worried about saddle fitting Rosie because she is bum high, short coupled, typical Welsh section D basically. Hector, where's your poo? Has your mummy done your poo? I think your mummy's done your poo. She shouldn't have done that. I bet she has. Yeah, Laura did a night shift last night and I said, leave the poo, I will get it. And I think she's done it. So I really needed somebody who knew what they were doing. Laura found PeeWee Saddlery. I knew about her on Instagram and everything like that. She was Saddle Fit of the Year last year and has got an awesome reputation. But she's also, what I really liked about her was how knowledgeable she is. And I thought, right, okay, that's just what I need. Is this on? No, that's all right. Just don't want to get electric shock. And I knew I had to have somebody who'd been saddle fitting for a while, who wouldn't look at Rosie and go, fuck, what am I going to do? So it was really good. So I knew that there was something not quite right with my saddle because I felt like my right bum cheek was always lower than my left bum cheek, and I kept thinking, well, I'm really trying to equal out the pressure, and I also felt like my hip and my pelvis was slightly tilted forward, all of which was true because, and this is why you need to get your second-hand saddles checked, and this is probably the airbag only went recently, but the airbag in my right back on the saddle, which is why my bum cheek fell down more, had burst. The reason why I felt slightly, because I thought it was Rosie, and going from Indy, who's very beautiful, back is beautiful and very square and very good, I felt like it was probably, I was just getting used to riding a different horse with Rosie, with the pelvis feeling forward, because I looked at her back and went, you're going to feel a bit like that. However, no, it was because somebody put shimmies in the back, so they must have had a horse that needed lifting at the back and not at the front. So always take your saddles to pieces when you buy a second-hand one, even if you've got airbags in it, because nobody knows whether you've got a shimmy in it or not. And I would always say steer clear of putting a shimmy in yourself, because that is a saddle fitter's job. I know when I bought Indy's saddle, they said to me, oh, would you like the pack of shimmies in it as well? And I went, no, I do not want a pack of shimmies, because I said that totally is a saddle fitter's job, and this is a saddle bank in Peterborough. And they said to me, oh yeah, no, we agree. I went, so please, I don't want to buy those. So they went, oh, okay, all right, which, you know, was quite good, but I was a little bit disheartened that they tried to sell them to me. But anyway, I was just having a stretch. You having a stretch there, lady? I am, Badger. And so Poppy came and she said to me, well, I haven't got any bags. We were the last call of the day. It was a Friday. I haven't got any bags in the van left. She said, so I'm going to have to order them for you. She said, so I'll lend you a saddle. Now that in itself, for a saddle fitter, bloody awesome. You know what? I don't know anybody who does that. I just don't know anybody else who lends you a saddle. generally they take them away and then you're without without saddle, so you can't ride. But she said to me, how often do you ride? And I said, she's being ridden 6 days out of 7. And she went, oh, you need a saddle. And she came out of the van and she went, I've got Old Faithful here. And I looked at it, I thought, that's an Ideal. Having already had 2 brand new Ideal saddles in the past for my horses, I know an Ideal saddle when I see one. And I am a bit of a lover. I know it's an old-fashioned concept now because the saddles aren't, you can't change the gullets yourself, but a saddle fitter can either widen it or narrow it for you, but I would always say get the paperwork to say they've done it, because other saddlers then won't take your saddles. Also, some saddlers went, Blueberry, why are you climbing on the muck heap taking poo? Because they can. How disgusting is that? And Liz thinks Blueberry's so sweet. I've just been bitten on my arm again. I'm covered in fly repellent. Yeah, always get the paperwork to go with it so that if you do ever sell your saddle, that you'll do it. But the issue, I said to Poppy, I said that was the only thing, and she said to me when I sat on it and rode Rosie in it, I went, oh my God, it's gorgeous. And Laura wandered up to me and went, I'll lend you the money to buy one. I went, it's fine, I have the money. I have the money aside. And she went, oh, well, why don't we ask how much it is? And I went, yeah, okay. I said I wasn't going to buy a new saddle at that time. I thought I'd leave it. Blueberry, get off the... Oh, only bathed her yesterday. And she went, well, let's just ask how much it was. And it was 16,500, so £1,650, which I think for a handmade leather Ideal saddle is pretty awesome. And thinking that I had a dressage saddle made for Joey probably 20 odd years ago, which probably cost me 1,850, an Ideal crown. It wasn't the cheap one. I kind of think it's good value for money. So especially if you look at how much I spent 750 on Indy's Wintec plastic, but I did that for weight really, so I didn't want a leather saddle for Indy. So I've just realised being a bit naughty, I'm walking in the long grass with my shorts on, which is a bit stupid. I generally tell people off doing that. But I didn't think it was bad. I had £1,000 saved up in my little box in cash, and Poppy said to me, your saddle's worth £400. I would give you £300 for it and take that as a £300, and I would take that as a deposit. And I went, perfect. It also meant that I didn't have to try and sell my saddle. Poppy obviously had somebody that was looking for, and my saddle was a Bates black jump saddle, 17-inch, perfect, a nice size to get rid of. And obviously she'd given it the good old once over because she'd would put in the new airbags for it, so you know that had to cover it. And I just sat thinking, that's a very good deal. I'm not gonna knock that. So I went, yeah, okay. And Poppy said to me, you can use Old Faithful, but I can't lend you Old Faithful for the entire time your saddle is being manufactured. And I went, oh, okay. She said, but I will find something for you. And I went, that's really kind. Anyway, Poppy had all sorts of family stuff going on, and I ended up with Old Faithful, riding it in camp, and the following week it was my saddle to come back. And then she came and she fitted the saddle, and it is gorgeous. It's lovely brown Ideal. It's bespoke to me because I've got a little bit of salmony pink piping, not too much, just saddled 2 little bits. I said to Poppy, she said to me, it's no extra, you may as well have it. And I thought, well, do you know what? It does identify it as my saddle, so let's have it. So that's what I did. It's absolutely gorgeous. It really, really is. Rosie goes so well in it. I also had the knee blocks and thigh blocks put in that Poppy recommended. I had those as well, so I had those. And I can't tell you how brilliant it is. Rosie goes really nicely in it. The reason I was getting a bit worried about the changeable gullet is because I thought, oh, I don't know, you know, it's summer, she's the fattest she's ever going to be this time of year, and I'm having a new saddle. Is that a good idea? And Poppy said to me, right, okay, let's just look at the structure of your horse, because I voiced it. And she said to me, Rosie is broad from the rib cage. She is not going to change the broadness on her rib cage. You will lose the fat along that, but you're not going to lose the broadness of it, she said. So, and I sat there and went, I'm convinced. And I was convinced because I just sat there and thought about it and went, oh God, Steph, being really thick. Because that's different. I mean, if you've got a horse that is fat, and it's just carrying extra weight over the whole of its back and making the shape of its back different, you can see that. You can feel it anyway. So I went, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That really does make a lot of sense. That does. So I'm less worried. And I sat there and thinking, well, Rosie's now 8. How much change is she going to have in her way of going, to her way of her body shape? I mean, hopefully she's just going to get fitter, more muscled, and she'll be fine. She's not going to get fine on the amount of work I'm doing currently, though. It's been so hot. But I'm just like, well, that's really good. So Poppy said to me, right, I booked you in for your check with the flocking, because obviously brand new saddle, flocking settles. She went, this saddle is not going to feel as comfortable as Old Faithful because not as many bottoms have gone into it. But actually, I have to tell you, I find it really comfortable. And she says to me, lots of long hacking. So what did I go and do? I went out for a hack in it, and then I jumped in it. So yeah, it's good. Laura gave me a jump lesson with Lucy, which was so sweet because Lucy's so encouraging. And I've decided with Rosie and jumping is that I'm going to turn the fences towards home because we get the enthusiasm going towards home, and then turning her away and then turning her back to go over the jumps, which improves what we're doing. So I know that might sound a bit bonkers, but it is kind of working. So that's what I have been doing. I'm also, she can really, I mean, as everybody keeps saying to me, your horse can really jump. I know she can jump, but we've just got to get that over that hiccup, which is, you know, getting her to go forward more when she's jumping. She loves it, but she can still be a tinker. And if I hesitate just a little bit, she goes, well, if you're worried, Mum, I'm worried, therefore I'm not going anywhere. Right, I'm just going to pick some poo up in tiers as well since I'm here. And the saddle is gorgeous. Obviously, I'd forgotten what brand new girth straps were like. Oh my God, and I've got 5 straps on it. So there's 5 straps on this because it's a Mattermoreland show jumping one. It's a Highland and native one saddle, so it is wider, it's broader, and that's it. So the girthing is, Poppy did try and put it on. She said, oh, I'll do 1st and 3rd. Well, that didn't work. 1st and 5th works perfectly. So she said to me she'd probably take, when she comes, some of the girth straps off for me, so there's less bulk under the saddle. I'm just getting used to it, really. It's not a big problem. Having all those girthing straps is quite nice because it's given me different options. First and fifth works really well, so it's like anchoring it into the right place. The saddle does not move. We've had plenty of spooks because we had the Chinook helicopter incident, which just it didn't move, so I'm well chuffed with that. And I have even used a normal, I had an Ulan saddle pad on it the other day, and it didn't move then when I was out hacking, cantering, galloping. We did actually have a little gallop. So what I would say is, if you are in Norfolk, West Norfolk or North Norfolk or wherever, Poppy goes all over the place, PeeWee Saddlery, highly recommend them. Highly recommend them. And her words to me were, I don't need to sell you a saddle, Steffi, because if your saddle doesn't slip and it fits your horse, which it does, she went, why do I need to sell you a saddle? However, having sat in the Ideal, it was a better fit, and it did fit her beautifully. And it is half an inch smaller. Half an inch, I think it is, smaller, which is what I was concerned about. So I've got two horses, one 13.3, one 14.2, and they're both in 16.5-inch saddles. So there you go. But Indy's got a longer back for saddle fitting than a Rosie. I'm nearly done, you know. Blueberry's been really helpful. She's having a good old run. This is the best part of the day for her. In the evening she gets a bit tired. So yeah, follow Poppy on Day in the Life of Saddle Fitter. She is on YouTube, she is on Instagram, she is on TikTok. She's really funny, she's really good laugh, and she's so knowledgeable, and that's what I found really interesting. I love her. I love to learn, and as you know, I've always been obsessed with saddle fitting, and I knew I didn't know enough to saddle fit Rosie. I didn't do a bad job, but I knew I didn't. I thought, if I'm going to buy a new saddle, I need to get somebody who really knows what they're doing, and she really does. So there we go. Don't forget to like, share and comment, and give us a follow. Thanks for listening.